poi flowers, poi hybrids, poi isolations. What do all these poi moves have in common? Well, it's a little thing called poi driving styles. And in this video, I'm going to break down for you what exactly they are and why they're so important. Drex here from Drex Factor Poi, sharing with you the love of poi spinning and flow arts to benefit your body and brain. And today, I'm going to give you a deep dive into a topic in poi spinning that once upon a time, I was a little bit of a skeptic of, but I have to admit I have become a convert to over the years. But before we dive in, I just want to give a quick shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Flow Fests, Flow Toys, Pyroterra Light Toys, and Ultra Poi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn more about all these amazing companies and the work that they're doing to support flow artists like yourself by checking out the links down in the description of this video. And special thanks to the non-business friend of the channel, Becca Bekkunen. Thank you so very much for supporting my channel, my work, and my mission. So, obvious question, what exactly is a driving style? The word was coined by French poi spinner Olive to describe the different ways in which poi can move relative to an arm depending upon how much energy is put into it and in which direction. And cards on table, in the past I have definitely been a proponent of saying that this is a concept that we didn't actually need in the poi world. And I've come back around to the point where I think actually it does serve a very valuable purpose. See, I personally think that teaching beginners how to add and subtract momentum to the poi as they're spinning it is a really useful tool that comes in handy for a variety of techniques down the road. And more than that, it will give them more confidence and control of the poi earlier on. So with that in mind, I'm going to take you through all 5 unique poi driving styles in the course of this video. Driving style number 1, extensions. So arguably extensions are the very first driving style that we ever learn as poi spinners, because I would actually count just spinning the poi around the hand, that is a static spin, as a form of an extension. The idea here is that we're trying to produce circles in which the poi is an extension of the hand, hence the very clever name, right? And this has all sorts of applications, not just from getting down basic hand motions and timing and direction, but also for practicing moves such as reel turns as well as butterflies. But more than that, I think it's in our best interest to teach beginners as they're learning how to spin poi, how to think of the poi as an extension of their arms sooner rather than later, and not kind of as a separate object. Not only does that lead to greater fluency with the prop, but also it leads to greater ability to move with it. And I think it has to be said, this is a very underrated but important tool to give beginners. If you can think of the poi as being extensions of your arms, then your spatial awareness when it comes to moving around your arms kicks in, and it makes so many poi tricks easier to learn. And I think that extensions are really well teamed with the next driving style on this list, namely, driving style number 2, pendulums. So arguably, if there is a poi trick on this list that might not belong here, it's going to be this one. If for no other reason, then I think that we could just as easily frame it as a cap that is being a product of 2 different driving styles put together, but that's not how we learn this trick. Most of us in learning pendulums don't think of it as going back and forth between portions of a shape that is anti-spin and portions that are extensions, despite the fact that this is exactly what this is on paper. Instead, we think of this as being robbing the poi of energy to make sure that it never swings above our hand as we take it around in a circle. See, by learning all the different driving styles, you learn a lot about how much energy you can put into the poi and how much you can take away, and that becomes a really important factor when you're learning poi flowers, as well as putting together the different shapes on this list into things like hybrids and caps and the like. This concept turns out to be super important, and it's this property of pendulums that is what I think makes them so important. If with extensions we learned how to use our body awareness to keep the poi moving where we wanted it to go, learning pendulums also gives us the ability to control just how much nuance there is to that movement. One of my favorite exercises to give beginner students is to go back and forth between extensions and pendulums and all the different timing and direction modes. Not only does this give them a feel for keeping that timing and direction consistent, but also it shows them exactly how much or how little energy they can put into the poi to switch the driving style. Super important for transitions down the road. So with these 2 bedrocks under our belt, I'm going to take you into the realm of what I think most people think of when they refer to driving styles, starting with Driving style number 3, Inspin Flowers. Alright, so we do have to say right at the jump that arguably extensions and Inspin Flowers are both kind of the same thing in some ways. We can honestly think of an extension as basically being a zero-beat Inspin flower. For more information on that, I did a video on the mathematics of poi flowers that I'll go ahead and link to down in the description and up in the cards. But for the time being, let's just say for the sake of argument that they're different because the experience of learning them can be very different for beginners. Inspin flowers are usually the first type of poi flowers that beginners become acquainted with, and it's easy to see why. That relationship with extensions means that if you've got your extensions down, Inspin flowers are a next logical step. And they're also the first time that you're working in a system in which you have to do more beats with the poi than you do with your hands, and that is a really crucial skill to get down. Depending on whether you're going to do 2 petals, 3 petals, or 4 petals, Inspin flowers become a point at which we have to control exactly how fast the poi is spinning relative to our hands. This is an invaluable skill to pick up, and one that is going to be really, really important for the next driving style in the list. Which, of course, as poi flowers go, for every Inspin, there is driving style number 4, Antispin Flowers. So this is the poi flower that everybody wants to get down. Those long, narrow petals just look so beautiful, especially when you can see them with trails. This is also the first time on this list that we've worked in a place where the poi is explicitly spinning in the opposite direction that the hand is. See, anti-spin flowers actually take something that we were playing around with in our Inspin section, that is controlling the number of beats that the poi does relative to the hand, and kind of turns it inside out. Not only do you have to control how fast the poi is spinning, but also you have to do that in a space where it's spinning in the opposite direction that your hand is going. That, in and of itself, can be a huge challenge. And of course, there's a variety of ways in which this can manifest. Everything from 6-petal antispin flowers to 4-petal antispin flowers, 3-petal antispin flowers, and into that wild and crazy world of just 2-petal antispin flowers, depending on how you want to look at it, either being linear isolations or cat eyes. And hey, real quickly, if you want to get more videos on poi tricks and technique, please make sure to subscribe to the channel so you see all my videos as soon as they get posted. Alright, so after extensions, pendulums, inspin flowers, and antispin flowers, you might be asking, what could possibly come next? And well, that is the biggest challenge on this list. Driving style number 5, isolations. So you can basically think of isolations as being extensions turned inside out. And this is the biggest reason why I said that static spins were basically extensions, because when we learn how to do isolations, it's like we're starting over from scratch in terms of how to get the poi to move along with the hand. If anything, I think that pendulums are probably the closest neighbor to isolations on this list, but really when you get down to it, you could also say what happens at the tip of inspin and antispin petals also feels a lot like an isolation. And just to nerd out even harder for a second, they also have something in common with extensions in that they're both single beat patterns. That is, the poi completes one beat for every beat that the hand does. It just so happens to be that in an extension, the poi is always pointed away out from the center of the body, and in isolations, the poi is always pointed the opposite direction that the hand is in. And this results in what is easily the most challenging and also probably the most useful of all the driving styles. The things that you have to learn in order to maintain this motion are absolutely essential to getting down other hybrids and stalls. And of course, the real challenge that comes with the knowledge of all these different driving styles is being able to practice and perform all of them in all the timing and direction modes. One of my favorite drills to give people is to start off with pendulums and then work your way up to extensions and then inspin flowers before working your way back down again. Here, you learn how to add and subtract momentum to the poi, and this is really helpful for making transitions. And of course, you can combine together the results of any two driving styles to get poi hybrids. Some of them may be more recognizable than others, but each and every one of them is going to be a fun challenge to get your hands to perform together. And hey, if you are looking to get a leg up on your fundamental poi skills, I've got great news for you, because that is the topic of the Flow Circle for the month of July. The Flow Circle is an exclusive lesson that's available only to my supporters on Patreon that gets delivered straight to your inbox. This month, the theme is exercises that'll help you get down these fundamental poi skills. Everything from drilling those tic-tacs in different planar orientations to developing hand independence so you can perform a 0 point with one hand and not the other, a crucial skill for getting down transitions. Sign up now over at patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi. The first lesson is already up. Cool. So those are what I would consider to be the 5 fundamental driving styles of poi. If you, like me, are a poi nerd out there, I'd love to hear. Did I miss any things that you would consider to be a fundamental driving style? Did I add too many things to the list? Leave me a comment and let me know. Also, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to help other people find this video and to help my channel grow. This video would not be possible without my amazing supporters on Patreon. In particular, I'd love to give a shout out to my Flow patrons who are listed on screen right now. Y'all rock. Thank you so much. And if you out there watching are not currently supporters, but you'd like to become supporters, you can do that by heading on over to Patreon at patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi and signing up. There you can get access to a whole host of awesome rewards, but even better than that, you'll be helping me out in my mission to bring poi spinning and flow arts to the whole wide world. Go check that out, please and thank you. And if y'all would like to learn more about poi hybrids, I did a great explainer video a couple years ago that I will link to down in the description as well as up on screen that will take you through every single type of poi hybrid that I was aware of when I made that video. It's quite long, but very thorough. Either way, thanks so much for watching. Make sure to get out and flow today, and I'll see you with a new video real soon. Take care now. Peace.